Welcome to Sex, Sons, and Success, a father's confession, a guide for men, and a challenge to reclaim your power. Let's begin. Prologue: The Hidden War for a Man's Power. The night this book started, the house was quiet in that suspicious way. The kind of quiet that means either peace or trouble is brewing. The fridge hummed. My phone lay face down on the counter like a guilty witness. And there I was, grown man, father, coach to a few, guy with answers to many, staring at the kettle while it tried to remember how to boil. My son had texted me 2 hours earlier. "Dad, how did you learn to be a man?" That was it. No emoji, no LOL. Just a sentence heavy enough to bend the kitchen table. I typed 3 different replies, each one sounding like a motivational poster in a barbershop, and deleted them all. I wasn't going to lie to my boy with a glossy caption, not this time. How did I learn to be a man? Mostly by improvising, by copying shadows, by testing boundaries like doors in the dark. Church gave me hymns and warnings. The streets gave me jokes and tricks. The internet gave me a private classroom with no teacher, no homework, and infinite ways to fail the test. My father? He gave me provision, protection, and a handbook written in silence. He could fix a leak and read a room, but somewhere between "pass me the wrench" and "son, we need to talk," the words evaporated. I remember the first time shame shook my hand. I was 14 on a hard wooden cue while the pastor thundered about purity. He paced like a drill sergeant with a Bible, sweating righteousness, and my heart galloped because my browser history could have been Exhibit A. I learned early to master the holy nod. "Amen," I said with my mouth, while my body whispered, "We'll see." No one told me desire was a kind of power that needed guidance, not a monster that needed handcuffs. No one said, "Son, your seed carries tomorrow. Handle it like a king." We got don't, we got stop, we got flee. Every instruction was an emergency exit. Nobody pointed to a front door. You know who did try? The barbershop. I earned the doctorate in barbershop studies. Older guys sprinkled wisdom like salt. Respect women. Keep your money right. Don't be no fool. The same mouths also taught me body counts like they were trophies. It was a buffet. I loaded my plate with confidence and contradictions and tried to digest both. Fast forward to my 20s. I chased the kind of success you can photograph. Shoes shined, inbox stacked, phone buzzing like a hive. I called it progress. Sometimes it was. Sometimes it was just distraction in a suit. I kept a second life under perfect lighting, the humble brag. The curated caption, the version of me that always looked in control. That guy got applause. The real me, hungry, restless, triggered by boredom, scrolling at midnight like I was searching for oxygen, he didn't get any likes. I won't fake it. Porn taught me a language I didn't know I was learning. It trained my body to expect fireworks with no electricity bill, intimacy with no vulnerability, climax with no consequences. I became fluent in shortcuts. I was a good man with a broken compass, telling myself it wasn't that deep while wondering why deep was the only thing I couldn't find. There were wake-up calls. You never forget them. The look on a woman's face when she realizes you're present, but not available. The way a friend avoids your eyes when he says, "You good?" Because he knows you're not. The night you close a big deal, celebrate with the fellas, go home to an empty room and the silence tastes metallic. My father got older while I got busier. We spoke in headlines. "How's work? How's your health? I'm proud of you." He meant it. I know he did. But there's a difference between love you feel and love you can stand inside. The day I buried him, I stood at the edge of the grave with a pocket full of questions and no one to invoice. Grief is a blunt instrument. It knocks the costume off you. I looked down and realized I was wearing his jacket. Same quiet, same sturdy stride, Same habit of fixing leaks while ignoring floods. Later that year, I almost lost someone who believed in me more than I believed in myself. Not because I was wild, those days were mostly behind me, but because I was numb. Numb is just danger in better shoes. It tells you you're fine while your life slowly runs out of gas on the highway. We were talking in circles, sleeping back to back, making schedules instead of memories. Every argument had a root system that went down into wounds I hadn't named. I wasn't cheating with a person, I was cheating with avoidance. Different affair, same outcome. That's when the lights came on. Not a lightning bolt, more like a dimmer switch finally turning. I started paying attention to my patterns. When did I reach for my phone the most? What was I trying to escape? Why did victory make me restless and failure make me reckless? I didn't pray for a new life, I asked for a new honesty. And I got it. Honesty is a terrible roommate at first. It throws out your favorite excuses and rearranges the furniture. I began to understand that sex isn't a hobby, an itch, or a syntax. It's covenant-level energy. It's creative force. It's spiritual power in a fragile container. When I treated it like a toy, I became a boy with expensive toys. When I honored it, I started to feel like a man who could trust himself in the dark. I know, that sounds lofty. Let me translate. I stopped treating ejaculation like entertainment and started treating it like an investment. I realized my seed isn't just biology, it's biography. It writes chapters my sons will have to read. When I give it away carelessly, I'm borrowing against their future without their permission. When I steward it, I'm putting compound interest on their names. I also redefined success. Not the cute redefined where you pretend money doesn't matter. No, money matters. Bills like to be respected. But money is a terrible measurement of masculinity. I've met wealthy men who were bankrupt in courage. I've met broke men who were rich in integrity. Success for me became alignment. Who I say I am, who I am in private, and what my people experience when I walk into the room, those three finally shaking hands. I wish I could tell you this transformation made me instantly holy. It didn't. Growth looks less like a halo and more like a calendar. I stacked quiet wins. I created rules that loved me back. No phone in bed, gym before opinions, prayer before screens, conversation before conclusions. I learned to tell the truth faster. I learned to apologize without adding a TED Talk. I learned to sit with desire without letting it drive. I learned to talk to my son like he's a man in training, not a suspect under interrogation. Which brings me back to the kitchen, to the hum of the fridge, to the question sitting on my phone like a judge. How did you learn to be a man?
If this chapter is hitting home for you, there's more waiting in the full journey of sex, sons, and success. Don't just stop at one lesson. Every chapter builds on the next, like pieces of a story only fathers can truly tell. Get the complete audiobook and ebook at the link in my bio, and join the community of men stepping out of silence and into strength. All right, back to the story.